New at 6, ahead of 4th of July weekend, one local marina is banning one type of watercraft from their waters. Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson is now live from South Hadley with more. Maria.
Matt, starting today, jet skis are now prohibited from the ramp area here at Brunelle's Marina. The marina announcing that decision earlier today, saying it was driven by safety, liability, and contractual obligation. Brunelle's Marina releasing a statement which says in part, quote, the decision to restrict the launching of these watercraft is a result of careful consideration and prioritizing the well-being of our customers and the community. Brunelle's Marina acknowledges the potential risks associated with the high-speed recreational watercraft, and our commitment to ensuring a safe and enjoyable environment for all visitors is paramount. We spoke with James Brunelle, who is the captain of the Lady B boat. He says this move will have a significant and positive impact for captains in the marina.
Captaining the Lady B, safety is our priority to keep our passengers, their safety as well. But with jet skiers going back and forth and not knowing the rules of the road and navigation, jumping over our wakes, cutting us close, it becomes an issue.
Brunelle adds it is difficult for a larger boat like the Lady B to suddenly stop if a jet skier cuts out in front, which can make piloting these vessels stressful. And in general, he encourages jet skiers to know the rules of the road, like the speed limit, before hitting the water. Live in South Hadley, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.